Hello and welcome everyone, it is me the lover, also known as the Power Tool Duelist, back for you with another video. And this is a bit improvised, but in honor of my, I think now month-long Discord username. Yes, there is an entire backstory behind it. Today I am going to talk about Warrocks, the big meme of just, modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, a battle-focused archetype released in the middle of 2021 as a TCG exclusive. What was Konami thinking? Well, it actually isn't that bad, and before you go ahead and roast me in the comments about this, let's get into the cards. We're starting off the main deck with the bigger man, Warrock Bachelios. Most of these guys have an effect that triggers if an Earth Warrior monster battles, which makes them also, fairly generic, I'd say, since there's a lot of good Earth Warriors once you think about it. But if an Earth Warrior monster battles, you can quick effect activate his effect, he can attack directly, and all Warrock monsters gain 200 until the end of your opponent's turn. The 200 gain is basically shared by almost every Warrock. On their effect activation, or rather on their effect resolution, all Warrocks will gain 200 until the end of your opponent's turn, which gives you some really nice boosts. And he's really cool because while he's in hand or grave, if an Earth Warrior is destroyed by battle, you can special summon him, but you get banished if he leaves the field. A neat way to close out some games, but otherwise you want to more depend on Warrock Meteoragon. This is one of the newer cards from Lightning Overdrive, also about 5 months old at this point. He can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects, which is already big. And if he attacks an opponent's monster, you can negate that opponent's monster's effects, alongside activated effects of cards with the same name. And during the battle phase in which an Earth Warrior monster battled, you can quick effect, make all Warrocks gain 200, and he can attack twice on 2 monsters that turn. And with 2800 after resolving his effect, that is not too terrible. Then going on to Warrock Skylar, she gains 100 for each monster your opponent controls, and during the battle phase in which a Earth Warrior monster battles, you can target a level 5 or lower Warrock in your grave, special summon it. Also, boost. She's also great, gives you some recursion. So yeah, she's nice for that, I guess. Opus is essentially a like Mammut, he can normal summon himself without tributing if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are warriors. And if an Earth Warrior monster battles, he Foolish Barriers an Earth Warrior monster from deck and boosts. He's cool, gives you another body. And moving on to Mammut. Yeah, just like Opus, normal summon him if you control no monsters or all monsters are Earth Warriors. And he, if an Earth Warrior monster battles, will be able to pop a spell or trap your opponent controls, which is also really neat, because having in-archetype spell and trap removal is kind of important for such a battle-focused deck. Also, the boost effect. Warrock Gyarados. If you normal summon an Earth Warrior monster, you can special summon from your hand, and if he, just like every other level 4 Warrock, is sent from the field to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a level 5 or higher Warrock monster from her hand or deck, which is really nice. Just having that additional float on your low level monsters is very nice. Also having this extender to go into some rank 4s or some link plays is very nice for additional board presence. Warrock Wento. If an Earth Warrior monster battles during damage calc, you can pay 800. The battling monster gains 800 until the end of the turn. And if she is sent from your monster zone to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a level 5 or higher Warrock monster from deck. Just like Gyarados, she floats. Very nice. And moving on to your main normal summon, I'd say, in Warrock Forscher. If an Earth Warrior monster battles, after damage calc, you can add a Warrock card from deck to hand, accept herself, and then, boost. Also, float effect. She's very good, of course, adding basically any archetypal card from deck to hand is a very, very powerful effect, which makes her definitely, probably one of the best cards in your deck alongside Meteoragon and Warrock Mountain we are going to talk about later. You don't really have a lot of engine cards in this deck, which gives you a lot of space for just good going second cards. You can see, you know, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, I'm playing Dark Ruler no more. Book of Moon in 2021, I know, but Lunar Eclipse is very expensive. Rhoda is an obvious choice for any warrior-focused deck. You want to get that terraforming to get to Warrock Mountain. Monster Reborn, just to, you know, reborn some monsters. Book of Moon is actually a very flexible card in this deck, not only essentially giving you a kind of esque interruption going first, but also being able to book monsters going second, which is very nice. Moving on to another Warrock card here. Warrock Dignity. You must control a Warrock monster to activate one of these effects. When an opponent's monster activates its effect, you can negate that effect, or during the battle phase, when your opponent activates a spell or trap, you can negate that spell or trap. This is actually kinda decent. I am not going to lie, this is actually kinda decent. Helps you going second, push through interruptions, and is also able to, you know, negate spells and traps. I don't know what more you would want out of a card for such a battle-focused and, you know, more going second-focused deck. Warrock Spirit is essentially a themed reborn that you can activate during the battle phase. You can either special summon that monster in attack position, but for the rest of the turn it can't attack directly and its effects are negated, or you can special summon it in defense, or you can special summon it in defense, and for the rest of the turn, each time a Warrock monster would be destroyed by battle for the first time, it is not destroyed. Neat recursion alongside, you know, the Monster Reborn, and also gives you the ability to recurse some of your bigger beaters. Warrock Ordeal. This is, you know, a one-off I'd say you can probably cut. When it's activated, you place 3 counters on it, and when an opponent's monster is destroyed by battle with a Warrock, you can remove a counter and draw a card. Once the last counter is removed, you will send this card to the graveyard. Gives you some draws, gives you some card advantage, but I wouldn't count on your Warrocks really, you know, outing every opponent's monster there is, but it's still a neat card to have. And now moving on to the best card in the deck, because this just does it all. If this card is activated, add a Warrock monster from deck to hand. This already is a really powerful effect on a field spell, because field spells are readily accessible by multiple cards. You could probably also play set rotation, but I think going with Terraforming Metaverse is already enough. And on top of that, Warrock Mountain also at the start of the battle phase allows you, while you control no monsters, or while all monsters you control are warriors, to special summon a Warrock monster from hand to a different name to the ones you already have on the field. This is actually kind of big because it allows you to essentially cheat out things like Meteoragon during the battle phase, where you want to have those guys on the field, which is kind of decent, not gonna lie. Also, if a Warrock monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can instead send this card to the graveyard, giving you, you know, extra access to those Warrock's effects if they battle. Then I'm closing out the main deck with, you know, 2 copies of Warrock Big Blow, Vanilla Trap card. During the main phase, if a face-up Warrock monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can destroy up to 2 cards your opponent controls. You can only activate 1 Big Blow per turn. And the Metaverse to get to our field spell. The extra deck is essentially every Xyz rank you can reasonably make, to be fair. 6 is a bit weird since Skylar is your only 6, but you essentially have good access to the entire rank 4 pool, and especially Heroic Champion Kusanagi and Gandiva give you some honestly kinda decent interruptions, because Kusanagi is a trap negate, and Gandiva can negate the special summon of a level 4 or lower monster. Gagaga Cowboy, funnily enough, is also an Earth Warrior, but probably the biggest card in here is the BLS Link monster. This is also an Earth Warrior, which has synergy with the deck, and with, you know, cards like Meteoragon and Bachilios easily being able to hit the field, you can definitely work on, you know, making this guy rather consistently with his effect. But in general, the extra deck in this case is more, you know, suited to support the deck. And I just noticed I am missing a card in Raten, the Heavenly General. Let's cut this decode talker for him and talk about him real quick. He requires 2 monsters with the same type. He is on the plus side an Earth Warrior, which is already good. And during the standby phase, you can target a face-up monster he points to and special summon a level 4 or lower monster with the same type as that monster from your hand into a zone he points to. And at the start of the battle phase, you can target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. Not too shabby, it has some decent synergy with the deck, and yeah. You can basically fit in every good going second staple into this deck, depending on what your meta is, what your matchups is. So, Mind Control, Cosmic Cyclone, Forbidden Droplets, if you have the money, Twin Twister, Reboot, some things, you know, I played a bit with during testing. Warrock Generations, I think I played this at 1. During the battle phase, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon a Warrock from deck. And if you activate this card during your opponent's turn, your opponent must attack the special summoned monster, which is kind of decent, you know, forcing your opponent to run into Meteoragon or Bachilios isn't too terrible, honestly. And also a trap I was having quite a bit of fun with is Titanocider. This negates an opponent's extra deck summoned monster's effects and changes its attack to 0. And if this is in the grave, you can set it back to the field when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck. So it's similar to Lost Wind in that regard. But yeah, of course, you know, being exclusive for the extra deck. This is the deck rundown, and I honestly have to say, I don't think the deck is as bad as I was giving the deck credit for, and also as I think a lot of people are giving the deck credit for, because in the end, you have a fairly straightforward, simple beatdown deck that, you know, drops some going second staples, dismantles the opponent's board, because look at these cards. You can't respond to Dark Ruler no more. It sets basically your opponent's entire front row under fucking skill drain. Things like Forbidden Droplets are even better. You have things like Raigeki Duster. There's so many good going second cards that this deck can take full advantage of. I'm not saying you're going to top Worlds with this, but you can definitely get some fun out of this when playing with friends, or, you know, maybe at locals. I would show you combos, but this deck does not have any combos. This deck is really just, you know, normal summon Forsher. Put maybe a Meteoragon on the board with Warrock Mountain and then start, you know, swinging away. But I'll probably find some Dueling Book replays from testing and put those in the end. So if I don't do a kind of, you know, closing out, I will thank you guys for watching right here and enjoy the replays. it's me again. I know those weren't, the most competitive of replays, I guess. But I, as mentioned before, don't think the deck is competitive in any stretch of the imagination. But I still wanted to make this video to kind of give a bit more credit to the deck, because it definitely deserves it. And I honestly had a blast playing it. It was actually really fun. Playing these games and actually winning some of them. But yeah, with all this out of the way, let me know in the comments down below what you think of Warrock, or if this video changed your mind. If you want to know the backstory behind Warrock Gaming, definitely let me know that as well. And with all this out of the way, I will thank you guys for watching very much again, and I will see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.